Hello and welcome. We are here for some Nanteleod's Legacy. Pendragon. Year is not 504. Didn't I say it was 505? It's 505, isn't it, guys?
Yeah, it was 505.
That was something.
It's something like that. Well, why the hell do I have the wrong date? Come on. Anyways, welcome for those watching. Oh, hey. Thanks for the subscription.
Yeah.
So, where we're at right now, we're gonna kind of have a more chill session. I think sometimes we move forward in this game so much we don't get to see as much of the knights, especially on the short-term sessions that we run. So we're gonna see what they're up to and see what they need to do before the muster begins. Before we get into that, it's the holiday season for some. I'm not living in the U.S. anymore, but I still love that holiday. So I have talked to my boss. I'm going to take Thursday off. And I have a very specific routine, from growing up in the States. Like, it's like the NFL games and then plane, trains, and automobiles. Like, those are like musts on U.S. Thanksgiving. What about you guys? You guys do your intros. Why don't you tell me, like, your favorite holiday routine? Can be any holiday. Yampa.
Well, I'm Puerto Rican, and what we do on holidays is just eat a bunch of food and get drunk. So I love every single holiday.
They're my favorite holidays too. Rhaegar.
For the most part, I always loved hearing the family drama at Thanksgiving. That was always me. I was like, no, they didn't. Now tell me a little bit more about that. Actually, that was always me.
That's fair. That's fair. Drax.
Yeah, Thanksgiving's pretty good. Eat way too much food. I'm gonna make some butterscotch pies for the family this year again.
That sounds fun.
Yeah, family recipe type stuff, so that'd be fun. And football. It's kind of a American go-to. Don't really care about it too much because I'm not like super into watching sports. I'd rather be playing it. But yeah.
Fins up, baby.
That's fair. All right, and Trent.
Hello. I don't like most of those holiday kind of things. Like, I don't love Christmas or Easter, particularly being in Australia. That don't make any sense. Like, it's 45 degrees Celsius. I don't really want to put mittens on. And the color red I find to be, awful when it's that hot. But anyway, so I kind of avoid all that. But what we do tend to do is go down to the beach. I live right next to the beach, so jumping in the ocean and having a nice sort of lazy summer morning in the beach, get up really early and and hang out there on Boxing Day or whatever. I quite like that. Once Christmas is over and I am like, okay, finally I am done with that.
Yeah.
I just chill out at the beach.
That's fair. I like holidays, and you know what? I miss them more being further away from it now. Like, now that I'm not there doing that all the time, I'm like, man, I want to be doing that. But that's okay.
Yeah.
And we do Thanksgiving in Canada. It's not as I talk about this with the couple of expats I know. It's just not as fun as the American holiday was. For whatever reason, tends to be a big deal. And there, it's like, it's actually, it makes more sense in Canada because it's actually at like
Winter.
No, it's not winter. It's at harvest, which makes a lot more sense. It turns out historically the U.S. one was too. I think it was changed by Teddy Roosevelt, I want to say. But yeah, and we have downgraded Drax to Mega Drax, or from Mega Drax. You've been shrunk back to your original size, sir.
Aww.
Yeah. For whatever reason, your camera didn't want to play nice. So, Anyways, why don't we dive in and play some Pendragon? Because I think that's why we're here.
What?
I know, right?
Is that what we're here for?
We do spend a lot of time just like talking shit behind the scenes.
We do.
It's true. It's true.
I thought this was a docking session.
Right?
Yeah, basically.
Okay. I mean, there are different types of role playing too, because there's definitely people that are like, there are definitely people that are not into storytelling in their games. So they're like, I hate actual plays because all they do is talk. I'm like, I don't know if I like a lot of actual plays either, but it's definitely not because they talk too much. It's
Yeah.
maybe because I think they're a little disingenuous sometimes. They're a little too stage actory for me. But like,
Right.
but I think talking to me is just role playing the way I grew up role playing. But I know there's
Yeah.
probably I've sat at tables where there's not a word spoken in character, or even like my character would say this, they wouldn't even take that route, and you're like, are we just playing like minis right now? Like
They just
what are we
Yeah.
doing? And not nothing against them,
Not
but
that wrong with that. Exactly.
definitely not my thing. Definitely not.
Mhm.
Hashtag not my role playing. I'm just kidding.
Oh God. Cancelled.
Um. So yeah, let's go. Let's go into game. All right, folks. So before we meet for the muster, um, which will be taking place in Glevum, actually, we all have some time to address things that we need done. I'm gonna roll at random. Let's figure out who we're gonna focus on first. Wergar, you're up, good
What time
sir.
of year is this, by the way?
I believe you mean
This-
Lord Wergar.
Lord Wergar.
Don't feed his ego.
No, I want him to, because the more ego he has, the more likely he is to do something dumb and exciting.
Fair enough.
Good plan.
Oh,
Why don't you start with rolling me a d10?
10. Let's take a look.
All right, 5 it is, and then that's odd. Okay, so that's okay, and then roll 2d100.
Mm.
33 and 12. Yes, okay. So, what did you have in mind? What do you want to focus on for your weeks in? Sorry, I'll answer Drax's question first. This is so after Easter, which would be about mid-April till about mid-May, and then you're expected to meet in Glevum.
Thank you.
Most marching and wars occur in summer, in probably historically, I'd imagine too, but also in this game. Maybe not historically, but definitely in this game. Got any ideas, Wergar, for what you want to zoom in on?
I think Cercalis definitely needs to fill in, his I guess his fighting roster, because he has almost no knights, and I don't think he's hired any footmen as well, because I know he has an obligation to field soldiers now. So I think Cercalis is probably going to be doing his best. He may not get down to like the last number that he needs of soldiers, but he'll try to get close to it. So I think most of the time he's going to be spending the next couple weeks around his lands, just trying to get new knights and etc. Or if I have technically nobles under me, trying to recruit them as well.
Okay. Okay. Why don't you give me? Do you have? Well, it's going to be anyways. Do you have diplomacy on your sheet?
I do. And speaking of diplomacy,
Mhm.
I was attempting to hire a tutor, Pyro, I think his name was, for diplomacy.
Yep. So that'll, if you're hiring a tutor, you're gonna get an automatic tick on it for the year. So it'll go up annually, and then you can put, training points into it as well, right? So you could dump a whole year worth of five skill points into it. But the automatic ticks also nice, especially when you got to low something that's going to be hard to tick otherwise.
And easy to fail when you try to winter it.
Yeah, easy to fail as well. So likely to go up automatically one step till it hits about 10. Then it's a coin toss from there, and then it gets harder and harder. Teaching you probability, right? Don't need to. You can give me a diplomacy test, an intrigue test, and a courtesy test.
Diplomacy.
Okay. Expected, kind of.
Love the all caps.
Yeah.
With emphasis.
Yeah.
Oh.
And then you said courtesy.
Yeah.
Not good.
No, all of them are bad.
Oh.
Yeah.
Real bad.
Oh.
That's real bad.
Okay.
Fumble of the night.
I need you to make a valorous roll. And a proud roll. Proud test. You don't have to test proud. You could technically test modest if you wanted. But unless
I am famously proud.
Okay, then you have to test proud. Okay. Is it ticked?
No.
Okay. You can tick it. What's the name of your spy master again?
Her name is Pernwena.
What was the first letter of that?
P.
What?
Like
Anyways,
P? Pernwena?
Pernwena? Okay. Weird.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so she will approach you. You're becoming a bit test suspicious, actually, or trusting, whatever one you want, unless one's famous.
Unsuspicious.
Okay, yeah. She's gonna feed you that, and it's kind of rightfully so. But she's gonna say that she's heard rumors. She approaches you actually, like after you come back rather unsuccessful on your campaign, right? Like, I think you were even like not even invited in through the rules of hospitality to one of the knight's houses. She says, the people here in these lands, you remember campaigning in Lambor and the resistance to you? They see you as an outsider, friend. My lord. Actually, she won't call you friend. She is your subject, so she'll say, my lord. They see you as a threat to Logres. And I've heard rumors that it might be the Lord in Kyndon who's pressing these matters. And you realize Kyndon is, if you remember your little estate map that we haven't done the mechanics on, Kyndon's here and yours, I think estate is over here. So it's this is a really zoomed in map. This is a fair amount of distance. That would be multiple hours between Kyndon and your lands, right? But she says, you may have to find a more heavy-handed way to appeal to them. At least those that are already within your lands. Now, the pass on Valorous means that you aren't inherently like fearfully suspicious. You're not like paranoid about it, right? But you are taking it personally with that proud test. You got the
Okay.
Michael Jordan meme, and I took it personally.
Yep.
Yeah. Anything you want to add to that moment?
Not at the moment, no.
Okay. I'll check back in with a brainstorm here in the future. So we'll kind of to be continue that and come back to it. Yampa. 1d10, please.
Beep.
All right, and 2d100.
No. Beep.
34 and 80. Huh? Okay. What is your plan? What do you want to do?
Well, how much time do I have?
You have a little less time than everyone else. You have about 2 weeks. You could get from Carlion to back to your lands in a few days, and then you'd have a couple of days there, and then you'd have to probably ride out from that point to meet. You're supposed to meet with Sir Elaine in 2 weeks to begin your mission, your embassy mission.
Well, last winter phase I rolled that I had a cousin, which is not on Waterguard's side, that is running things well. Let me double check, make sure what I wrote on that one.
One more time, sorry. I might be having trouble with my headset. I apologize.
No, I'm trying to look for what I rolled last. Yeah. So last winter I rolled that I had a cousin that is alive and healthy, and they are excellent with numbers. While they live, the manor will benefit as if a proctor was present. I guess Ruin is going back to his new lands, I guess, trying to set everything up, set his family up, set not really going out to meet the Breckinog, but just making his presence known before he has to go.
Great. So you're gonna kind of meet and greet with a lot of the. Because if you remember Breckinog, it's kind of like there's Breckin, and then there's the tribal lands around it. Are you kind of going out to the tribal lands and doing a meet and greet with? No, this is more like a
No,
Breckin.
Yeah, I'm saying in Brecken, making it known that I'm here, that I'm
Okay.
present, but that I have to go soon.
Okay. Well, if that's the case, so Breckin is still. It's weird because you have a, the land. It's technically your estate as provided by the king, and of course, while you're present, I think Breckin, like the man himself, basically he's old now, but he will step aside and allow you to well, you're given a role by Nanteleod. He's not gonna argue that at the moment. So he will stand aside and let you play the part of the ruler, and part of being that is overseeing disputes. So give me a second here.
Yeah. Can I actually have? Because I don't see Ruin just going in and just taking over everything. I like, would I have the chief? as an advisor for like his cultural part of things. Since I am technically an outsider.
Yeah, so you'll consult him on it?
Yeah, yeah, like the ways of the people and such.
Sure. I'll allow that. The dispute that you roll a d3. I imagine this is
Like,
gonna be the funnest stuff. Yeah. Like out of character will be hilarious, but
Oh yeah.
in character it'll be tedious. So you have to oversee 3 separate like disputes, and you feel like you're like, how did I get bogged down in this shit? So the first one is an ordinary farmer, and then there's the farmer's childhood friend, who offers you. Oh no, I guess where are you from? You're from. Yeah, this might be like someone that you spent time with as a child in Escavalon. So this is someone that you knew. So it's like a commoner friend you had, like someone you might have played with as a kid, you know? He offers you 1 librum to help you think. The actual situation is an exchange of verbal insults that led to this, so it was just short of coming to blows. And it's something to do with an illicit love affair, and apparently something to do with the uncle of your friend.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. It's messy. Yeah.
It's a whole novella by itself.
It's a pillow book right here.
So
So
50-50 on just an arbitrary, funnily enough.
Yep. So when you're ready, why don't you test just or arbitrary for me here?
I'm gonna try and do the right thing, and I'll try to roll just.
Okay. Okay. That seems to have gone pretty well. I think in this case, you don't accept the librum, and you maybe put this matter to require further investigation into what actually took place here, because you're dealing with at the minimum. You're Christian, yes.
Yep.
You're dealing with at minimum a fornicator, right? And this has the potential to get ugly. So they seem impressed with that because you don't make an immediate reaction. The second one is an ordinary farmer and a rich farmer who will also try to bribe you 2 librum to settle for him. Is the ownership of an ox. It's involving an illicit love affair with his sister.
What the hell is going on over there, man?
What's going on up in this mountains, man?
Is this PK or something? Like,
It's a free for all.
Yeah, so it seems that the disputes over over the ownership of an ox, but there seems to be behind the matter something fueling it, involving a love affair with the sister of the ordinary farmer. So why don't you test? I'll do it this way. We'll do like the Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. At any point, once out of these 3, you can consult Brecken. I think doing it more than once would make it look like you didn't know what you're doing.
Yeah. I mean, this is another one of those of like, we need more information. Like, where does this ox come from?
Yeah.
Like, is he trying to buy the ox from him? Did the ox go into the other dude's lands? Like, what are we working with here?
Okay. You can test just or arbitrary.
Shall try to be just again.
Oh, look at that. All right. You call for further investigation. People seem satisfied with it. So your last one out of 3.
Fun.
A tradesman, an ordinary tradesman, a disheartened local priest. Something about a child. Claiming, then color around murderer and sister. Okay, so, putting this together, the ordinary tradesman is blaming the local priest of having murdered his sister, who is still a child, and the priest looks like really low, really down. You might call that melancholic.
Hmm. Could I try to roll intrigue to see if I could like maybe read this man's like mannerisms or emotions? The priest.
Yeah, I think, normally you can in a justice event, but this is a little bit more colored narrative. I think you could. There's something about it. He seems sad. He seems... There's something that separates his demeanor from someone that you might think is just caught guilty. There's like no pride or anger. It's just a sense of mournfulness. And like kind of acceptance of this looking really, really bad. Like,
Is this like a Catholic priest or is this a pagan?
this will not be a pagan. This will be, I think it makes sense that this is probably a British Christian priest. Yes, probably a British Christian priest.
And the Briganaga are mainly pagan.
Yes, though under an Nanteleod, it's slightly, there are some converts now, but most of the people up in the mountains stay pagan.
Does the tradesman have any witnesses, any evidence?
Yeah, there is. So roll me. What did you roll? Yeah, you rolled that. Okay. Yeah, I'll just do it real quick. I need a little bit more flavor to this. And no one saw him do anything. Basically, the situation is the priest claims that so this kid was missing for days, and he was the one to discover the body, and the body was like hidden in a barrel in Brickham. And the priest claims that he saw a vision of the body he can't describe the figure, but he says he sees like the silhouette of a figure, and he watched it happen. He says it's a vision from God, and obviously there's a look like, hey, maybe no one's gonna believe this, and that's kind of what the vibe is from him. He's realizing that, like, if he's accurate, or if he's being truthful, he's basically stuck his dick in the door. Like, this isn't gonna go well for him. He would have been better to keep the dream to himself if this was the case.
He's sounding a lot like Wadir right now.
Hey,
Yeah.
fuck I do.
Let me see here. I lean more towards cruel, and this is the time where I'm going to lean over towards the chief and ask for his opinion.
Okay. 1 sec. Sorry. Chewing malfunction. At that point,
Good.
he will lean back to you and says, the tradesman is known. He is a local. He's good at what he does, and he's honest. If he doesn't, the people will demand the priest, regardless of which way you rule on this. I hope you understand that. And I'll leave it at that.
And this is the last matter that I have to deal with right now.
Yeah.
You know, if Rune was sitting, he'll stand up and he'll look at the priest. Him not being very, religious. He'll go, I'm sorry, brother, but the evidence is stacked against you. If you're innocent, I do hope that our God forgives me. But you are sentenced to death for your misdeeds.
Okay.
And then Rune will walk away.
Okay. When you go to leave, you see your wife waiting for you with a look of urgency. It won't be your wife, actually. You see one of your servants looking at you with a look of urgency on his face.
And, yeah, what is it?
Okay. Now, I need to consult with you for a second before I answer this. You have how many children right now living?
One daughter.
One. And one daughter. And she was previously sick, or is that the one that passed that was previously sick?
So they
As a
were both
child.
sick at one point, and
Yeah.
then one recovered, the other one died.
Yeah.
And one's supposedly healthy.
He says, "Sir, your daughter has collapsed. She's
Where
being
has this happened?
at your estate, sir."
Take me to my horse. We leave post haste.
Yep. We'll zoom back in on you soon, my friend. We'll resolve that piece. We're gonna cut over to. Well, it's Drax time. Drax,
Oh,
I need a D10 and I need 2 D100.
All right.
Okay. All right. So where are you going during this brief month off after you leave Easter?
Yeah, I'm not sure it's actually doable. I wanted to try to resolve the whole family estate business.
In what way?
that's
So when I'm always looking for two things. So
yeah,
I'm looking for it's good for me to hear your goal. But your
right,
goal might be 7 to 25 steps depending on what it is. But what
right.
is your first step, or what is your angle, I guess? What
I
are
was
you
hoping to be able to essentially use law or something like that. Well, it'd be my stewardship, I was hoping, but to try to manipulate the situation so that I take the estate from my cousin before he can claim it. That was my broad approach.
through what means who in Carline are you going to lean in to help make this happen?
That's a tougher issue. Because Nanteleod's already said he won't interject into it,
Yeah.
but I'm not sure how that works considering it's his territory and right. Yeah.
You have
So,
an in with somebody you probably don't want to leverage, but
yeah,
they'd
no,
probably
the
be the
Seneschal
person.
guy. Yeah.
Yep, he's probably. I mean, if there's one person that could get it done, it's him.
Yeah, he's also
The one, yeah.
That's
So the dilemma is left with you, of course.
yeah. Um. Hmm. Yeah, that's not
Would you
gonna be
like to
viable.
see if you can seek someone else that could maybe help in the legality of this? Are you gonna? Is that the approach you're gonna take, or
Yeah, I'm
you're
gonna
taking a
try to do it that
might
way.
makes right approach? Okay.
Well, I mean, that's the next step because he's not gonna let this go. He feels slighted very heavily from all this,
Okay.
and the fact that Nanteleod is not backing him up on this is stinging real bad.
Okay. This is what you're like in the reverse role of like when you played Crusader Kings 3 and you're like, why can't my vassals all just fucking get along?
Yeah,
But you're one of the
yeah.
vassals in this instead.
That's getting along and like
That's not getting
coexisting.
along. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, why does this one manor matter when you're
Mhm.
playing like from the ruler perspective? But then
Right,
when you're
right.
on the ground, you're like, this is my whole livelihood. This is who I am.
Yeah, it's
My
literally my
family.
dad's house.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All right. So,
that too, Yampa.
Muck. Uh,
Hey, you decided to marry my arch nemesis' sister. Don't look at me.
Hey, it's karma then. What's happened to you then? You can't let that go.
are you looking? Yeah, we'll assume it. Okay. I don't know what skill first means, but that's pretty cool.
I
Must
would
be a
assume first aid.
yeah. Actually, you're probably right. I wonder if I hold on. Let's see if I stretch it out. Nope, doesn't get any better.
Yeah.
Okay, so you find I don't think. Yeah, we'll say he is someone that has literally risen during Anarchy from a peddler in the mercantile class to a landed noble through money and cautiousness and selfishness, and perhaps that selfishness is not just for himself, it's for his family. So this is someone that's managed to work his way up in the feudal system, something that's very rare, a little more common in Anarchy than prior, but a little rare nonetheless. Most knights were named from the noble militis that were, when Constantine came over, when Uther's dad came over. Um, that was where the knights were first raised in Britain, and kind of like there's been very few exceptions where others have risen into the noble class from there.
Okay.
Those that did were probably already nobility in the pagan Celtic tribes, like the Cymric tribes.
So he's a landed noble after being a merchant. So,
Yeah,
okay, that's impressive.
older man, and he's extremely good with like law and kind of Machiavellian ways to get stuff done. So
Okay.
it really is. It is the same sort of thing as going to the seneschal, and it's not a man you can trust.
No.
It's just the devil you don't know rather than the devil you do.
Well,
I
and
think
he's selfish, so that's play into the greed thing if needed.
yeah, he's famously selfish, so you're aware of that.
Yeah,
famously,
exactly. But he's also prudent, so yeah.
So he'll meet with you, but he meets with you under a standing guard of 5. They'll stand outside the room, but they're there. Make
Right.
sure that
Okay.
you don't threaten him or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So
All right. So
he is not a knight, though. We'll say he's like an esquire. So his name is Riss.
Okay. All right. So Sylvain would greet him first, introduce himself, and thank
so
him for
the Dog Knight they call you, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, some do. Yes, it's good to finally meet. I'm hoping this can be a fruitful meeting. I'm sure you've heard of some of the issues with my family home in Caroline. A sort of secession dispute.
Oh, yes. Your was it Diggit? Is that your cousin's name? Out of character.
Yes.
Oh yes. So Diggit, a fine war hero in Norgales.
Absolutely. You find no complaint from me on that. However, he is wishing to press the claim on my family estate. As his uncle, or his father, my uncle, was the one managing that as I was a child and into early knighthood. It was, of course, my father's originally. So I am feeling a bit that it is not his place. And our great king does not wish to interject himself in such business, so I am looking for alternative means to deal with this as civilly as possible.
He smiles, especially at the last part. He says, "It's good on you to seek such civility, though I'm surprised to see you speaking with one as lowly as I. Perhaps I shouldn't be, as I have spied you below the salt many times alongside myself."
That's fair. I have no issue with being in such a place.
There are greater men than I that could achieve these things, even if the king won't give you his ear. Why not the seneschal?
Perhaps. Indeed, the seneschal. That's
Are you
always an option.
are you wearing any sort of response to that when he says that? Is there any sort of visual, like, are you trying to keep it cool when he mentions the seneschal, or is there a clear look
he's gonna try, but I don't know how good he's gonna be at it. I mean, he's
test intrigue?
yeah. All right, it's cool, but he crit, so
Yeah, there's a look, like a smile on his face, but he doesn't press it. He just smiles.
Well, yeah, and if he's in the know, he knows there's issues there because there's been
seems
some.
like so I'll give you this with your past intrigue. It seems like
Yeah.
he didn't know there was issues there,
Oh,
but it seems
okay.
like he's figuring that out right now.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That's bad for me, but that's cool.
Yeah, but he doesn't press it. He says, "Well then, you've come to the right place, my friend. How might I assist you with this?"
Well, I'm hoping that you could leverage a means legally to make this issue results and take more uncivilized approach. I'm curious to hear your advice on such things. And as to the reason why I approached you,
I am a nobody, a bastard, and I will make sure that I will create no bastard by my name.
Because I, for better or for worse, whether I like it or not, I am no longer a maiden. I am a knight, and I hold true to that.
You protected more than that. You stood by me when others might have let my mistakes be all I really was. You helped me. You saved me. And I'm sorry I couldn't repay that favor 10 times over.
I find it offensive that they do not consider my father the clear and rightful heir.
And we're back. We're down 1. We had Wergar who had to exit for the night. So we're just fixing some cameras around, but we're almost there. Good news. We've got people generally in the right area, so I should be able to fix them quickly, and then we can dive in. Let me just get... Damn it, Yampa, I can't see you.
Yeah.
Like Draximus.
Draximus Prime in the house.
Okay, zoom. Okay. Good, and then Trent. All right. We're back in the swing of things. I'm going to fix mine slightly. I'm real close, so. Okay. And then I think I always feel like I'm hiding more of Trent's face, but I think this is where it cuts off the camera. You're all good, Trent. There we go.
I'm just chaos.
Chaos. All right, we're back, and then I'll put a Sir not appearing in this film for the third one here. It's gonna go nuts with these. Hey, look at that. Okay. We are back, and then there were 3. We actually killed off one of the characters off screen. No, I'm just kidding. So what did we? Okay, we were midway through the conversation, Drax, when
I'm not sure
when
what you
Discord
left
took
her.
took a crap. So
Yeah. Basically, Rain ended that little sentence with complimenting how successful he's been. Yeah.
he smiles. He's not incredibly proud, but he's a little proud. You know, he speaks a lot of his family, and you can tell. Actually, he's famous about it, so you already know that about him. He says, "I understand the importance of a good place, a good home for your family, a place to raise and be proud of. It was your father's before it was your uncle's, yes?"
Yes, it certainly was. I was but a small child at the time.
And how would
Am
you
I-
like to approach your claim?
As legitimately as possible. It was my father's. It should have went to me. And unfortunately, my uncle never clarified his intentions when he passed in battle. And now my cousin desires it.
Indeed. Well,
And as you said, family's important, and I have a family to worry about.
I could dispute the matter on your behalf, but that would make me the enemy of a banneret of Norgales. I'm not saying I'm unwilling to do so, but doing so would require a bit more compensation.
If that's the case, let's get into specifics. What sort? And how much?
Before we discuss how much, please do understand that doing things legitimately will take some time.
That's fair.
Very well then. If you wish to discuss specifics, you'll put me on retainer for 5 Libram a year. And when the matter is resolved, you'll owe me 10 Libram.
Very well. I can do that.
Out of character, can you do that? Or is this...
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I just wanted to
Yeah,
say...
I have enough income
Okay.
right now saved up.
I wanted to know for the audience purposes, is this Rain just being like, this matters so much to
No.
me, I'm not even thinking, or is this like
No,
okay.
Rain is far too honest. He literally could not lie about that at this point.
Yeah.
He's famously honest.
Okay,
So it's
yeah,
like, he actually has the funds right now to afford that. Yeah.
He'll
Depending
see
on how
that in
long it
your
takes.
eyes, and he doesn't even hesitate, and he says, very well then, I will start immediately while you're away campaigning. Would you like me to continue to press this in the event that you do not return?
Absolutely. Maybe my wife's is non-traditional as that is,
And your child?
and my child.
Do you have one?
Yes. A young daughter.
Then she will be heir.
That is my intention as of now. As I
Very
have
good,
no
then.
other child.
Then let us begin. He smiles, and yeah, we'll leave it there. Actually, let me just check something. 43.
Checking
What?
events.
Oh no, we kind of went over that. Okay.
Sweet.
We now go to Trent. We haven't seen Gwydir since last episode. You know, I was thinking before we jump, you know, like it's just the way that some of the stories worked out, but it's almost like I could see Sir Rain feeling like a not favorite of Nanteleod's just through the last couple of arcs, like from being held.
Spy officer for a whole campaign,
Yeah,
and then,
and then
thrown out into Camilliard now.
Yeah.
To try to build a fort. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not pleasant for the religious dog knight. Yeah.
Hello.
Gwydir, you were last seen in the Forest Sauvage.
Forest Sauvage, learning about my own religion from a strange old man with bird shit on his head, on his shoulder.
Yes, and a sled of jackrabbits.
That's right, exactly. Yeah, so I think off the back of that, I think he still rightly feels slighted by this so-called archbishop. Sub-bishop at best, if you ask me. But the first thing he needs to do is apologize to Nanteleod and Elaine for his boorish behavior. So I think that's what he will do. Try and get an audience with the king, and well, it's probably Elaine first. That'll be easier, and then the king, and then Dubricus. And the whole point is to apologize and make good for his bad behavior, and then to tell Dubricus to shove it, and the king this as well, not to shove it, but to tell the king that he didn't steal any goddamn finger bone, and he doesn't like being accused of theft without any evidence. But his plan is to then try and make up for it by saying, tell you what I'll do, if you can give me any leads or I can find any leads, I'll go and get the finger bone back for you, because that's the kind of guy I am.
Okay, why don't you roll me a d10 and then 2d100, please?
Very well. Ah, so close.
Okay. Let me just see something. Okay.
I must have rolled something spicy on a 68.
Indeed. Roll me 2d100.
Oh boy. Oh. Oh boy. Oh man.
Love that for me. Love that for all of us.
So when are we going to do Gwydier's funeral?
Or his next step of madness.
Mm,
His last outburst was rather entertaining.
right?
And completely justified, honestly.
Totally. Yeah. Oh, I know. I mean, like I said, Rain's all in on that. He thinks
Yeah, I
you're-
think we can all agree that Gwydir is always right.
And always a little strong there. 90%.
Damn it, I thought I could slip that one in and get away with it.
Yeah, almost.
Mm.
Maybe next time.
New character then. That'd be fun.
Oh, come on. Bert's had his character fall off a damn mountain before. You're good.
It's worse than that. He had a mountain thrown at him.
Yeah, that's
By
true.
God, of all people.
Yeah.
It's one of
Lost
the
a
strongest
horse out of the
people
matter,
there is.
too.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, breaker chains. Yeah.
Breaker of his own back, more like it.
Yeah.
Got
In
him.
his face.
Fucking got him.
Okay. Give me... Let's see if this is even a thing. Give me a folklore roll plus 10.
Folklore roll plus 10. My folklore is okay. 8.
Nice.
All right, tick it if you don't have a tick.
Mhm.
Okay. You travel through when you get back. You know, you're nurtured in the forest, and you get back on your horse and you start to ride. You find yourself along a path, and as you're riding in the evening, there's like there are. Before I say that, are there? Do you think are there fireflies? Are there lightning bugs? Fireflies in
Britain.
England? Yeah.
There would be in the Forest Sauvage, if nothing else,
Yeah,
but I'm
yeah.
sure there are.
You know what? I agree with that. Like, there's fucking lions in the Forest Sauvage, so why not, right?
Yes.
Um,
Oh, the UK doesn't have fireflies, but it does have glowworms, which are
Glow-
similar in appearance and function.
yeah, there we go. I appreciate that. So yes, there's a series of glowworms kind of like lighting a path, and you find that interesting. But what's most interesting is it's been a windy day, and as it moves to the night, the wind kind of continues to rustle through the leaves, and you hear something really interesting within that sound, like the sound of whispers.
That sounds great. I'm in. Which direction?
Yeah.
Give
that my
me,
girlfriend?
Give me an awareness test. You can add 5 to this.
Hey. Love a +5.
Nice.
Oh, so close.
At different waves, like it's like the wind's rustling through the leaves, and then every once in a while, you hear what sounds like a whispered voice, and it says, like at separate moments, probably over the course of like 5 minutes, you hear the following key mentions. It says, "Your child, born of the succubi, will be your undoing. And I need you to make either a spiritual or a worldly test, depending on which well, if you have neither famous, you get to choose. I guess is my point.
I think I'm going to go for spiritual, specifically because of the recent experience that you just had. I have failed that.
Okay.
And worldly as well.
Okay, so I think in this case, you're not completely compelled, But here's what you know. So, from your previous folklore role, many pagans believe that the spirits of the forest speak words of premonition to them through the ruffling of leaves. And given that you've never heard something that sounded so...
Ominous.
Yeah, it sounds like someone speaking an omen to you.
He'll sort of think and be like, well, I'm fairly sure I would have remembered sleeping with a succubi of some sort, so really nothing to worry about, I don't think. But if you're there, do you have another one? One that actually pertains to me, please? That seems like you're missing the point a little bit, because I've never met one.
The wind continues to howl.
Balls to you then! And I think, I think it occurs to him that he's just never met a succubi in this company. Now, I know that it's very likely that one lady from Easter could have been a succubi. Or my girlfriend could be. He doesn't know anything. He's, but you know, maybe I should roll a fairy lore to see if I know if it's possible that a woman at a feast could be a succubi. I'll roll that. I have good fairy lore, so he passes. Is it possible?
Yeah, so... with a good fairy lore, where have you been picking up this fairy lore? From your wife? Where is this?
Yes, from my wife. And I think just probably like he's been meandering a little bit near the edge of the Forest Sauvage, I think. He likes to go hunting and whatever, so maybe, you know, he's just been talking to foresty type people, other hunters and that sort of stuff. But I think most of it's been coming from his wife. That's why I've been putting points into it.
So what you're more aware of that like the average person might not be aware of is many know the succubi to be temptress that typically dwell in outside of civilizations, but there's nothing technically stopping them from visiting one. They feed off of the emotions and almost like spirit or energy of someone, and they say that can even kill them. That's common knowledge. They say that the incubi is much the same, and that they use their seduction and beautiful looks to do so. Your knowledge, because of your wife, goes a little bit further. You know that the only difference between the succubi and the incubi is which form they choose to take at the time. And that they actually can breed through taking the form of the succubi, entangling themselves in lustful acts, and then turning into the form of an incubi and spreading a corrupted seed of that person into another.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I don't know if Gwydir would really care, other than I think that would suggest that you slept with this, which to be fair, I think Gwydir has had not just that, Dalens. I think you've rolled for illegitimates, right? In past years as well.
I have 7 children to 3 women, one of which I don't know about.
Okay. Perfect.
And one of them is this woman, actually, the Easter lady. Yeah, because I was away. We were on campaign at the time, so I couldn't roll for it with my partner. But I met that woman when we were in the middle of wherever we were at the time. So yeah. So it's possible. But I think he, even if he does think it's real, the fact that he failed spiritual and worldly, I think he's just kind of
out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I've got to die of something, and honestly, the likelihood is that I'm going to get killed by some Saxon anyway, and if I get killed by my own demon child, I mean, God, what a story. I'm going to tell everybody when I get home that I'm destined to be killed by my demon child. Brilliant. I think he's excited about it more than anything.
All right.
And then onwards to the maybe, hopefully.
Roll me another d10. We're going to stay with you for a sec.
All right. 9.
Okay. You make it back through Glevum and into Carline.
Cool.
we're gonna go back to Rune. Rune, you make it to your daughter. Do you want to rely on your own knowledge of first aid, or do you want to seek the consultation of the priest who, like, I think you're British Christian, yes?
Yeah.
Yeah, you probably have like I can't remember what they call them. There's a priest that actually stays in your manor, and that would be who you would consult with first on something like this.
Well, I feel like Rune's knowledge in first aid will only mainly be from like combat wounds, like slashes and cuts and such. So he'll go straight to his daughter, see what is ailing her, if there is something ailing her, and in the meantime, call for that priest, whoever that might be, chaplain.
Yeah, chaplain. That's what it is. He's already been called for, and he's here. Do you have a name for him yet?
Bob.
No. I was asking if I gave you a name yet. Yeah.
No, I don't got a name for him.
Okay, we'll give him a Kimrick name then.
What is that?
It's like Oprah's last name. I think is what it's supposed to be. Winfrey.
Winfrey. I think the O is an oo, so it's like oo, and double F is S.
Is it Umfrey?
It's like
Umfrey?
Umfrey.
I'm gonna find that double S.
Umfrey makes sense. Umfrey. Yeah, I bet you that's. I bet you it's Anyways.
It's a joke. Yeah. It's an Easter egg.
Apparently, really good at battle for this guy, but
he's a war priest.
Yeah, he's looking over your daughter. Your daughter is most certainly ill. She's how old is she now?
3, I believe. Let me double check.
You can tell the moment you enter.
She's
the room.
4, actually.
Yeah, you can smell. It's likely coming out both ends. She's not doing well. She's very ill. And he's currently holding like a pot up to her as she throws up into it, and then she kind of lays back down. She's a sweaty mess. She doesn't even see you.
Well, by any chance, would the doctor that Gwydir hired to tend to my daughters would still be around?
Were you still funding him? Yep. Then yes. Yeah, we'll say that he was simply away, like, in Carlisle getting supplies, so he's due to be back this evening.
And as the horrible father that I am, because I've constantly been at war and not really paying, as spending time with my daughters, I'm going to ask my wife, Anarchy, are these the same symptoms as before? Is it the same malady?
They shake their head and they say, no, she was weak before. This is some kind of... Your priest, I think, will speak up and say that there seems to be something passing through the people in the mountains this spring. And it seems that your daughter might have gotten it. It will affect the children in a harsher way.
Is there any way that we can fight this?
Oh man, you're asking the priest. He will say, we'll do our best with her now. Your battle must be fought in the chapel. You must give her life up to God. It's in his hands. Yeah. Yeah.
I think that's a no.
Dice says no. Yeah.
I think Rune is just going to snap for like a very like just like a millisecond. His like usual collect itself. He snaps. He grabs the priest by the neck, and
Yeah.
he goes like, "God didn't leave me my first daughter, and I'm not going to lose my second." And he'll let him go and say, "Go fetch me the doctor. You're useless to me."
Okay. Is that part in like the Fallout where it's like, Winfrey will remember. Winfrey will remember that. Yeah.
I feel like it's like the origin of Humphrey.
Yeah, Humphrey.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, Humphrey.
It's probably Humphrey, though. I bet you. I think Humphrey was a name, Old English name. Oh yeah, Wordly. Yeah, I wish I had influence over the creation of the sheet, but
Yeah. There's a couple in there as well. I'm pretty sure a couple of typos.
Yeah. Yeah, you think it'd be an easy fix, but it still hasn't been fixed to this date. Maybe I should appeal to Roll20 on the. Come on. Anyways, we'll move away from that. We're gonna go to the next scene, Gwydir. As you arrive back in Carlion, you go around looking for Elaine, and you find Elaine at the stables with Rain, and both of them look like they're gearing up to go somewhere. And Rain, this is the first time you've seen Gwydir since he disappeared, so presumably to his estate.
Hello, gentlemen. I have good news for ye. And wait, where are we going? What's going on?
Elaine glances at Rain, just like sort of instinctively.
Good to see you again, Bren. Trust
And
you're
you,
well.
my brother in arms. What's happening? Are we going to kill somebody? Is it time already? I made it back just in time. I knew it. Blessed by the gods, all of them.
You have a few more weeks, Sir Gwydir, Elaine says.
Well, that's good, because Elaine, I've been meaning to speak with you. I have to apologize for my boorish behavior. I'm sorry. I should never have handled you like that, and if you wanted to beat me or throw me out of a chair or whatever it is that was appropriate, then I would be willing to do that in private, at least. You didn't deserve it. That damned archbishop accusing me of theft. Could you believe it? Not a shred of evidence. I'm sorry, Sir Elaine. You deserve better. You're a good knight.
He looks at you a minute and he nods and he says, Sir Gwydir, you're one of Nanteleod's best.
Puffs his chest up a little bit.
But it is no secret what happened when we raided Estragals.
Well, I like that you said we, Sir Elaine, because I wasn't the only bastard there, and I didn't take no finger. Why would I take a finger? They said it's priceless. If I had it, I'd be telling everybody.
It is unlikely that the Archbishop blames you for the finger directly. But you are the hero of that raid against Menevia. You are the one who led it from more than a simple raid of the lands into pillaging a sacred site. At least to the Christians. But he does say, at least to the Christians, he is British Christian, but he's appealing to. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, if it was so sacred, maybe they shouldn't have marched their army away. Well, I have to go and... I'm not going to give them money for it. I didn't... That's just not fair. It's not how these things... But I'm happy to make amends for them. if I could track down the finger and return it to them or something like that. I just need to. I'm not going to sit here and let some uppity robe-wearing priest tell me that I'm a thief when I've never done such a thing in my life.
I
Do you
understand.
have any advice, Sir Elaine? Do you have you know these priestly types? I try to avoid them. What might I do, do you think?
Your plan is sound. It should make up for at least the loss of such a holy relic. It can be found again. And whoever is responsible should be brought to justice.
Well, that I can
I
do.
agree.
I can do that. I can do that, Sir Rain. That's the easy part.
It might not solve everything, but it will at least
It likely
make
won't.
some amends.
Well, that's all I can ask. It needs to be a first. Speaking of amends, Sir Elaine, and what of you? What could I do? In front of everybody. It was so. I'm so sorry.
There is no amends to be made, Sir Gwydir. We have all come from many wars and battles. We've dealt with a great many things together. I could tell that your frustration was not with me. Perhaps, if anything, promise me that you won't show such disgrace in court.
Of course, I had never intended to. Yes. So long as my will is my own, then I would never.
He nods. He seems satisfied with that. Sir Rain is just showing me the trail through the local woodland here.
The hunting trip. Well, I was going to go straight. Do you want me to come? I'd love to. I know I've just spent a month or so, however long, in the forest, which was great, by the way. Do you know that apparently they're telling everybody that my own succubus child is going to kill me? Can you imagine?
You're what?
You're just jealous. I'm onto you. You're going to have some boring death. Some Saxon's going to throw a spear at you or something, and I'm going to be killed by my own succubus demon child.
No. Fair enough.
Yeah. Like, okay, do you want some prune juice?
Okay, Grandpa.
Yeah, I don't think Rain can handle anything other than that like that. So it's like, okay.
Do you want me to come with you? I've just come from there. It's been raining, so it's a little muddy. Do you want me to? I can come with you if you like.
You
He
are
looks
more
to
than
Rain
welcome.
and he nods. He says, "I would welcome it for certain."
It's been too long, to be honest.
Good, an adventure then. You there, Esprita? Could you go and see if you can organize a meeting for me with the king to apologize, and Archbishop Tubercus as well? You know what? Maybe not you, Esprita. You should come with me.
Yeah, she says she says the old priest, the one you called Pubercus, that guy.
Squire Gormant, could you please go and I'll take Esprita with me to the forest where
Like, on
nobody
second
will see
thought.
her. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, everyone just looks at her like Esprita, like, "Are you kidding?" And then you turn to the other one. The other one's like nods. Very well, sir. And then he'll head off.
Good man.
So
Okay.
is everyone Squires coming along too? I was just curious.
Yeah, that would be the
Okay.
assumption. You're welcome to
Yeah.
leave them behind, but
No,
Yeah.
no, that's fine. I just wanted to make sure like what the party was looking like.
Hell yeah.
yeah. So we're gonna say that you what he wants to know, given his constable role, is he wants you to tour him up to the estate that you're building. show him
Oh, okay.
the road, show him the path, as far as you can get within a week through the forest, and then back.
All right. Yeah, I don't think Rain would have an issue with that. I mean, he patrols that all the time. So.
Yeah. Yeah, if you remember, that was like where we started. Was literally like find a clear path through the Hereford, and it's like the guy went missing, and then that's where you guys ended
Yep.
up in Sauvage. So.
Oh yeah, our
yeah.
trips to the Sauvage have been very entertaining with Rain with his hunting roles. So yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so why don't we just get, this doesn't have to be a big long thing, but we're gonna get Rain. You're gonna roll a D10 real quick.
All right.
Okay, and then give me a hunting roll. You can add a +5 actually, because this is
okay.
a familiar path.
Sweet. All right. If not, I was gonna impassion anyway. So it's.
You're welcome to do that too if you want.
I won't need to. Realistically.
Oh, okay.
So.
You could do it anyway. Think of the crit.
That's fair. Yeah.
And then you think of the madness as well.
Yeah, that's fair as well.
What's the worst that can happen, man? It's just
Well,
a
like,
Yeah,
first
let's do
one.
it. I'll do loyalty lord since it's supposed to help my lord this way.
One bull.
Nah, we're good. We got it. And then hunting roll. The extra.
Baby.
There you go.
All right.
See?
This is a lot different for Gwydir than the last time Rain tried to guide you through a forest. So
Yeah.
you're actually
Yeah.
rather impressed by how easily he navigates this forest.
I see you've figured out how paths work, Sir Rain. Good job.
To be fair, my wife actually taught me most of this. She's very good at this.
Speaking of your wife,
I believe
given that you're going back, where do you want to leave your wife for the summer, Rain? Are you leaving her in Escavalon? That would be like her preference.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
her preference.
Yeah.
He ain't gonna force the issue because he knows there's not proper amenities where he's stationed.
Okay. This is gonna be kind of like an uneventful trip. You're gonna get up there and you're gonna get back. It's you head all the way up to close to Oracolines. So you follow the river after you get through the forest, and you head back down. So on the map, you guys on the map? I think you're on the map. Yes.
Yeah.
You guys head through here basically, and then follow the river here, and then up here, and then back down. When you get back through the Hereford, you make it back to Carline. We're gonna cut over to Rune real quick. Rune, good sir.
Yes.
I need you to make a D10 roll first. Okay, and then I need you to make 2 D100s.
I don't like this whatsoever.
That's fair.
Get 100. Oh.
Okay. We're gonna steal this right out of Crusader Kings. You get to the point where you your the guy the healer that Gwydir had hired. I'm assuming this healer is probably like pagan too, right? So like not the most loved by like the like when he does show up to do the Christian thing, like he's earned Rune's family's love because you guys like anything that keeps your family in good health is welcomed given the tragedy. But given was his name actually Trevor?
Yeah, I think it was randomly generated. Yeah.
Yeah. like Tim.
We love Trevog.
Yeah.
Trev Dog.
Trev
So-
Dog.
T-Dog.
You I'm trying to think because I'm not a medical person myself, but effectively the treatment he wants to provide, like to take this out of CK3, it's a little bit more drastic, but he's fairly confident that this will lead to the ongoing well-being of your daughter, and not taking this risk might mean poor outcomes. He does exclaim that there's a presented risk up front. Basically, we'll say it's like, this is in the old days, and we're talking like Arthuriana, so it could be in fact like a potion. It'd be like relying on that and keeping it down.
Yeah. Huh. How would he go about this? I think Rune is pacing. Like
Yeah.
when he paces, when he's thinking, he's pacing up and down the room. He's probably surrounded by Anarchy and maybe some other Brachianog that might be more comfortable with this situation.
Mm-hmm.
On the other side, there's probably that one priest and a few other Christians and Catholics or whatever. Huh. I think seeing as, I think he'd go for it. I think like after being very reluctant and like talking to Anarod and like, oh, it's we already lost one, we can't lose another one.
Okay. That's fair.
He would eventually just like give the nod and like just, I guess, not retire, but like stand in the corner just looking on.
Okay. I want you to make a trusting roll and just not fumble.
Oh wait, I think I have.
You have
Oh, no.
directed trait positions, right?
I thought I did. Where is it? Oh, there it is. Huh.
How much extra is it?
Oh, alright.
You have a suspicion for towards physicians?
Yeah, I got it from way back when.
Interesting. Okay, you failed that, so make a trusting roll. -2.
Trusting -2.
Oh, is advantage available?
I'm not there.
I'm not there either. I am willing to donate.
Oh,
Okay,
no.
it will turn it from a it will turn it from a fumble to a failure, but it's still not a fumble's worse.
Okay, so what are we looking at here, right? So I'm suspicious against physicians, but I failed the roll.
Yeah, the trusting was allowing this
trusting was a
man to operate. I think with a failure on both, it's really like you're uncertain, but you're not making any drastic measures. So
oh, we have a double redeem advantage.
That's okay. He's gonna need it.
I mean, it's like a big thing for him. It's his only living daughter.
Yep.
At least she's not a succubus child.
So, do you put? I guess not. We already answered that question with worldly. You don't put any sort of thought into the prayer that night, right? You probably stay out. Do you? Safe to say you try to. Why don't you give me a con roll? I imagine you try to stay up all night with her. After, it's safe to say you let this guy operate, but under.
No, don't take that. She needs that. Leave that bit there.
What are we talking about?
I mean, the supervision. Just saying, no, you can't take her finger. Leave that alone.
Yeah, I
Just
think
stay.
he's being like a helicopter parent at this point. It's like he barely spends time with her because he's called to
Yeah.
her so constantly.
So
You know.
you feel a bit guilty,
Yeah.
right? Okay. I want to know if you allow the doctor to do what his plan was. Now, you're suspicious and you're trusting failed. So you're torn. You're basically like, the dice aren't going to help you decide this.
Well, I'll go it's not only my decision, it's also my wife's decision because it's our daughter. What does she have to say about this?
She thinks you should let the doctor do it.
Trevor.
Let me see what my reckless is at. I have more reckless than prudent. But it's
Are you?
imprudent because my wife is.
Been hanging out with me for a decade.
I have I'm 11-9 leaning towards reckless. Yeah, I think he is going to break his temperacy. He is famously temperate, but I think that for the first time ever, he's going to indulge on the wine, and he's just going to be in the room, and he's going to, just let it happen.
Yeah.
Shrink the problem away. Yep.
Yep.
Yes. Yes, the power of Trevor.
Such a very pagan thing to do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's very unlike Rune, but I
Very
think
good
this
year.
scene demands it. Yeah.
I dig it. All right, so
Don't bring up that name.
right, yeah. Sorry, dig it. So you wake up like the next morning. I think various people. There's sort of like this montage. You know, the fast forward mode you see in like a scene. So you see people. You see Rune kind of sitting there on the floor, like all the time, and there's other people moving around, and he's just sitting there, like not far off the bed as the time shows from like evening, and then it gets darker in the room from the from the sun going down, and then there's sort of that fast forward motion of people entering and leaving the room, the priest, the kid's mother, Rune's wife, like over and over and over, and then finally there's like this lull where it's just Rune left as the sun starts to kind of come back up in the morning, and as the scene slows down, Rune, make an awareness roll. For the first time, you're just kind of like, you're awake still, but your eyes are just kind of closing a little bit longer than they were before. You're starting to feel tired from being up all night long. And then you feel someone with their hand on your shoulder.
He'll turn and see what is.
It's your daughter. She's standing up. She's got her hand on you, and she looks confused, and she says, "Father?"
Yeah. He's so tired of it.
Yeah.
He'll like embrace her, and I think he is going to. I think he cries. I think he just cries on her shoulder, like just grabbing onto her tight.
I want you to make a spiritual or worldly test, please.
Seeing as he did that, I'm gonna do worldly.
Okay. Okay. You, sir, are moved, but you're moved by believing that you put your faith in the right pragmatic hands of this healer. So this is not effectively, if you had like critted spiritual or passed spiritual and failed worldly, you would have started to maybe buy in a bit to what the pagans believe, given that's where this guy's sort of medicine comes from. But I think you're almost like more in the concept of like a scientific response, maybe before age of science is actually a thing at this point, right? But like you're kind of like, that's clearly that this can be studied and this is important. This man knows things and helped my daughter greatly, and that's kind of where you put your faith. I'm gonna go ahead and give you a D4 roll, please. Okay. Your worldly is now 10, and your spiritual is 10. So that's a house rule I use for pivotal moments where a roll turns out a certain way. Might have a much bigger effect than simply a tick added to your sheet. Okay, so with that, we move back into a scene. Rune, you've just entered. Carline and Rain and Gwydir and Elaine have all just arrived back. Rune, this is where you and Elaine are meant to begin your journey.
Brothers, it's been some time.
Hello, Sir Rune. Did you know that the forest has been telling everybody that I'm supposed to be killed by my own succubus demon child? Can you imagine? You're going to die boring, and I'm going to die like that. So good and fun. How are you?
He's going to slowly look at Rain and then back at Gwydir. It's like, things are going well, Sir Gwydir. I am happy to hear that I'm not going to get killed by my demon child.
That's good. How are your children, by the way? Hope they're all well.
Well, she is.
Oh, yes, just the one. Sorry about that. My bad.
Yes, Gwydir, just the one.
It's like 6 head smacks all in the room at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah. Hope Trev Dog is Trev's dog still there? I think I'm paying for him still. I don't really know what that money is doing, but I'm hoping it's helping.
It's helping a very a fuck ton. Sir Gwydir.
Oh, good.
To not mince words.
Good. Well, glad for that. We've just been on a jaunt up to Orcaleeds.
Oh, how did that go?
I don't really know.
It was rather nice.
You were able to see Gwydir on your passing. I kind of skimmed over that, but you were actually able to see the tower that Rain's sort of overseeing the construction of. It's like probably about halfway built now at this point. It looks pretty impressive. It's all made of stone, unlike like a lot of the current state ones.
Mm-hmm. Our lovely brother here is compensating by building the most phallic construction he can think of. I would have thought that wide walls would be better than tall ones, but what do I know?
Quite a bit. Don't sell yourself short there.
Thank you. Thank you.
We're not talking phallic devices here, gentlemen.
I think we are. I think that's exactly what we're doing. Why did you make it all bulbous at the end like that?
Seemed to make sense.
So with that, Elaine kind of looks at Rune and gives a nod.
Rune will nod.
Thank you again,
We always
Rain.
nodding at each other like this. What's going on?
Elaine will say, thanks again, Sir Rain, for treating us to that hunt. Why don't you both actually, while we're at it, why don't you test hunting?
Okay.
Nice.
Hey.
Hey!
Yeah.
I'll
He knows
take
what he's
that.
Gwydir, you managed throughout the trip. You caught a actual kind of like marvelous doe, but Sir Rain ended up taking like a great stag, tracking down a great stag and taking it down. So the thing has like, you probably kept the antlers. This thing would be like a significant trophy within your estate somewhere. Probably the biggest stag you've ever seen. So
Very nice.
yeah. With that,
I was about to say, yeah.
Remember your critical glory since the song,
Yeah, I've been
our
learning.
capture of said glory.
Yeah,
is not here.
our scribe is not here.
Our scribe. Yep. So with that, Elaine looks to Rain and Gwydir and says, "Forgive us, gentlemen, or forgive us, sirs. We must be on our way."
Stay safe
fun.
out there. Watch the trails.
We'll do.
Yeah. It seems weird, like these two have never worked together, as they kind of little quiet and head off. So
Yeah, I think Rain's okay with that though. He's pretty comfortable with Elaine, and he has no issues with Rune either, so he doesn't think nothing crazy of it.
Arun has some issues with you, buddy. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, that's all right. Sir Rain's the good Christian. He just lets it go.
all right. All right, guys. I think that's a good place to stop since we don't have 5. We were able to kind of close through more than anticipated. We'll end on a sort of end moment because it was promised. We see the banners of Nanteleod's people. We see them pass through Glevum. We see them continue through Clarence, past Somerset, past Summerlin, as they enter the county of Gentian and arrive at the walls of Wanborough, or Marborough, as some might know. We
Hell
see Sir Elaine and Sir Rune arrive at Sarum at the Rock. And with that, we'll come to a close. So this Sir Rune's story, Sir Elaine in Rune, rather. I'm not sure what I said before. I'm getting tired. But Sir Rune and Elaine will have their bit done in Sunday's game, where Yampa will be joining us. So, all right, thanks for watching, folks. We're gonna go ahead and close right there. I don't think we need to do any outros or anything for the night. Appreciate this. We continue on with the war against many people, I guess, at this point.
Yes, everyone.
Summerland versus Cornwall. We've got Salisbury versus Wessex, and then the not so entirely certain where Nanteleod's going, but it appears that he's not going to Summerland. So that much is clear. And with that, we'll close. Thanks for watching, everyone. See you next time.
Night.
Thanks all. Bye bye.
Bye-bye.